Ma ba'd. My dear respected brothers and sisters, I welcome you all once again into another episode, another night, another series of our Guiding Star series. And tonight, inshallah, we will continue where we left off last week. And last week, I shared with you a glimpse into the life of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, rahimahullah ta'ala, the great grandson of Umar ibn al-Khattab, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. My brothers and sisters, we need to know that the great-grandson of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu by the name of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah was a man of faith, and he was a man of integrity, a man of honor, a man who chose Allah Azza wa Jal over everyone and everything. And if you recall in the brief history that I shared with you last week, first and foremost, he was made into the governor of Medina. And the political system of back in the days was such that there would be only one Khalifa, one president, and every country would have a governor. Not every state would have a governor, but every country would have a governor. So at his time, the Khalifa was someone else, and he was made to be the governor of Madinatul Munawwarah. And the amount of justice that he spread, as I mentioned to you last week, it was so much that people started to leave the capital of the Khilafah, which was Damascus, the capital of Syria, and they started to migrate towards where? Madinatul Munawwarah. Hajjaj ibn Yusuf, who was a Muslim, but he was a tyrant Muslim. Someone who did good and bad for Islam. He was known to disrespect and to kill the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, but yet he was still a Muslim. He would perform salat and etc. He was the governor of Iraq. So he wrote a letter to the Khalifa of that time that this man's honesty and his justice is not doing any good for us, the people of political power. So therefore he needs to be out of the equation, and you need to fire him ASAP. So the Khalifa ended up firing Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah from the post of governorship. Now later on, when the Khalifa passed away, I'm just giving you a brief history of what I mentioned last week. Sulaiman then took over after his brother passed away, and when Sulaiman took over, and when he was passing away nearly about 3 years later, after when Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah was fired from his post from Madinatul Munawwarah, then the wazir and the minister and the assistant of the Khalifa by the name of Raja ibn Haywa, he said that make this man Umar ibn Abdul Aziz your substitute and the next Khalifa. In other words, do some good before you pass away, because this Khilafah is not a family business. It's not supposed to be such that the brother passed away, not the other brother takes over, or the father passes away, the son takes over. It's not a family business, and let's inshallah now give it to someone who's deserving of the post. So they all agreed that this is supposed to be Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah's right. And I gave you the quick rundown of what had occurred, and the time is very short, and I will move on inshallah. Now Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah, the great grandson of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu, he's married to who? Fatima. Now do not confuse Fatima being the daughter of the Prophet ﷺ. We're not talking about Fatima bint Muhammad ﷺ. We're talking about Fatima, the wife of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah ta'ala. And know that Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah, he is the Khalifa and the president of how many countries? Roughly about 21 countries. Roughly about 21 countries are under his reign, under his control, and under his leadership. And then he appointed governors who were basically the ones in charge of each and every single country. Now, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah mainly chose only Allah over everything else. And I will just mention a few stories in regards to how pious this man was. He would take the bare minimum of the bare minimum, and the amount that he would take was barely enough to even provide for his family members. The amount of salary that he would take for himself from the Baytul Mal, from the Muslim treasury, from the IRS of the Muslims at that time, was the bare minimum of the bare minimum. To the extent that upon an occasion when one of his daughters came and she was talking to him, she had a shawl around her mouth. And he didn't like this, that why is my daughter talking to me in this manner? Then later on he found out that she was so hungry that she had eaten onions and she did not want to bother her father Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah with the smell that comes out of the mouth after eating onions, so that she does not give any discomfort to her father. He was not able to barely even provide for his family members. And we're talking about a man who has 21 countries roughly under his khilafah and leadership. Now, anyone who wanted to discuss private affairs, in other words, affairs that were not related to the state affairs, he would put out the candles that he was given by the state. And he would basically turn off the lights that were given to him by the state, and the candles that he used to own from his personal wealth, he used to turn those ones on. And he used to say that now you are talking to me about your personal affairs. So therefore it is not permissible for me to use the candles that I have been given from the state if it is not being used for the state. Subhanallah. That's how honest this man, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, rahimahullah ta'ala, was. His own wife testifies that by the night time, when people would be resting and spending their time with their spouses, my husband Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah would stand and he used to perform Salatul Tahajjud throughout the entire night, making dua to Allah Ta'ala that, oh Allah, give me the ability and the tawfiq to fulfill the rights of this post that has been given to me. Now, upon an occasion, his wife's friend, she came into the house. And so whose friend came into the house? Fatima's friend. And Fatima is who? The wife of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah. So her friend comes into the house and she sees Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah outside, in the backyard or somewhere, walking around, doing some chores, working. She thought that he is probably someone who's working for them. He's a servant. But now Fatima is now wearing her hijab. So her friend said to her that, what if he sees you? What's wrong with you? Quickly wear your hijab. So she said, this man is Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, my husband. So the lady, she was shocked and she was full of awe that the man who is probably the most powerful man on the face of this earth, he is taking care of his family in such a way. Whereas for us it's even difficult to move the cup that we used to drink our chai and our tea. It's difficult for us to go and walk to the kitchen and to wash that cup and place it the way it was previously. That's very difficult for us. It's extremely difficult for us to do even the basic chores. But this man, who is probably 10 times more busy than us, he still made time for Allah, he still made time for the affairs of the state, and he still made time for his family, and he still took care of his own family members. Now, when he was the governor of Madinatul Munawwara, a khayyat, a tailor, once came to him and gave him a pair of clothes worth 5,000 dirhams. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah, not that he, na'udhu billah, used to steal from the Muslim treasury, but it's just that he had a lot of wealth, came from a rich family, he had a lot of wealth, and he was a very successful businessman at the same time. So the cloth that was given to him was worth 5,000 dirhams. He said that this is not comfortable enough for me. In other words, I'm too good to wear this cloth that is worth 5,000 dirhams. And he indirectly told this tailor that you are now disrespecting me by giving me something that is worth only 5,000 dirhams? You should give me something even more expensive. So he gave him that indirect indication. Later on, when Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah became the Khalifa of the Muslims, the very same man came to him and he gave him a cloth worth 8 dirhams. So from 5,000, he dropped it to 8 dirhams because he was hearing that Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah, he does not like to waste, and he's not a man of extravagancy. And he's not a man who prefers luxury. So he said to him that this cloth that you have given me is considered to be israf. You've wasted money. You should have gotten me a gift which was even more lower than 8 dirhams. Subhanallah. Remember what I said last week, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to revive His deen, a man is prepared overnight. Within a blink of an eye, a man comes and he revives the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, roughly in about every 100 years, there has been always a mujaddid, someone who revived the deen for the Muslims. Now, the scholars have mentioned that the mujaddid of the first century was Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullahu ta'ala. When he became the Khalifa of the Muslims, he invited some of the high-ranking officials who were in politics, the governors and the ministers and etc. He invited them all to dinner. And he told everyone to come hungry, and all of them came hungry. And he's talking to them, and time is passing by, hours have passed by. Now they started to feel the hunger. He said that the food will be coming soon. In the meanwhile, let's just munch on the appetizers. And he gave them the food which the poorest of the poor Muslim would eat. So he put all that food in front of them, and the main meal and the main course, he told them it's coming later on, but for now, let's just finish this. So since they were hungry, as they were talking to him, they started to eat the food, eating it, until they all were not hungry anymore. So Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah said to them that, would you like to have the main meal and the main course of the night? They said, no, we're full, O Amirul Mu'mineen. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah said that this food that you ate, which is sufficient for the poorest of the poor Muslim. Now, just because you have become the leaders and the governors and etc., you think you're better than everyone else? You think you're better than everyone else? In other words, he wanted to rectify their mindset that these positions have been given to you, not so that you can benefit yourself, but you have to benefit only the makhluk and the khalq and the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because this is an amana. And then he fired some of them, and the other ones who had stipulated a extravagant amount of salary, he decreased their salaries accordingly, according to their labor. Now, when he rahimahullah ta'ala was passing away, what had occurred? When he rahimahullah ta'ala was passing away, or before he passed away, a man approached him and said, O Amirul Mu'mineen, you did not leave behind anything for your children. Giving him a ta'ana and taunting him that what type of father are you, right? You took care of the entire Muslim ummah, but you are leaving no wealth behind for your own sons. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah said that the greatest wealth that I have given my children is that I have made them salih, I have made them pious. And Allah mentions in the Quran, وَهُوَ يَتَوَلَّى الصَّالِحِينَ, and that Allah is the one who will take care of the pious ones. So no amount of money is better than the companionship and the caretaking of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this was his faith and his belief. Some of those who had access to the Muslim treasury at that time, some of the political figures, They were known to live a lavishing lifestyle. And they were known to stipulate salaries for themselves which were not justifiable. Not all, but some. So what happened was, when they would pass away, they would leave millions of dirhams for their kids and their next progeny. The books of history has recorded itself that the children of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah were so blessed financially by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that in the Jami' Masjid of Dimashq of Damascus, in one sitting they were wealthy enough to donate 100 camels at that time. That's like donating millions of dollars in one sitting. Imagine, every Ramadan you have that one brother of the community, he's donating millions of dollars, and everyone, is shocked at where did he earn all this wealth from. Did their father leave behind anything for them? No. He left behind the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah mentions in the Quran, وَهُوَ يَتَوَلَّى الصَّالِحِينَ, and that Allah is the one who's going to take care of those who are salih. So therefore, after He made them salih, Allah Azza wa Jal took care of them. So this notion that you and I today unfortunately have is that, what will I leave behind for my children? That fear, many times, it leads us towards haram. And it leads us towards earning haram wealth, not realizing that that wealth has no barakah at all whatsoever. And it has no baqa. It cannot last, and it does not last. And we see it during the course of history. Everyone who has earned haram wealth, it does not last in their generation, right? They have to pay a 33% tax. That's gone. And then the great-grandchildren have to pay another percentage of the tax. And then that wealth, they suffer a financial loss, is gone. Their great-grandchildren have nothing left over. Now, at the time of Eid, when everyone wanted to come and visit the children of the Khalifa, of the man who's the president of 21 countries, nearly 21 countries. His wife Fatima said that we do not have enough to provide new clothes for our kids. So Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah said that this salary that I am taking from Baytul Mal, from the Muslim treasury, is not enough for me to afford new clothes for them. So his wife said, I have an idea. How about you go and you ask the treasurer to give you next month's salary in advance. You can use that money to buy the kids new clothes. It's Eid season. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah said to the treasurer that I want my next month's salary in advance, and this is the situation. The treasurer said, O Amirul Mu'mineen, if you can guarantee that you will live till next month, then I'll give you the money. Since you cannot guarantee that you will live till next month, therefore be content with whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. And who is this treasurer? The one who has been taught by Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah himself to be honest, and the effect of the honesty of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah also transferred to the next generation. Now at the time when he rahimahullah was passing away, there are many narrations that are mentioned in regards to his passing away. That itself requires another few episodes, but I have summarized it to the best of my ability. When he rahimahullah ta'ala was passing away, everyone is coming to the house, visiting him, seeing him. And he's in his deathbed. And the shirt that he was wearing had stains. And it did not befit the image of a Khalifa to be wearing that shirt. So his brother-in-law, meaning his wife's brother, Fatima's brother, he said to his sister, that Fatima, give your husband, my brother-in-law, another shirt. People are coming in, they're seeing him, he's about to depart from this world. It does not befit his image as a leader of the Muslims. So she ignored him, she didn't say anything. The second time he said again, "Oh, my sister, I told you to change his shirt, get him another shirt, and it doesn't look good." She ignored him again and she brushed it off. The third time again. Finally, she said that there is no second shirt in the house that we can give him. In the house, there is no second shirt. Subhanallah. A man of justice, a man of honesty, a man of taqwa, that he regarded this wealth and the keys to the Muslim treasury as an amana, as a treasure from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore, the effects of that honesty transferred and instilled into the next generation also. So that's how he, rahimahullah, had passed away. And of course, someone had bribed one of the servants and one of the slaves of who was preparing the food for him. They gave him a handsome amount of wealth that to put poison inside his food. And this is how he, rahimahullah ta'ala, was assassinated. His reign and his khilafah and his leadership lasted for roughly about 2 years, 4 months or 5 months. I can't remember. It was either 2 years and 4 months or 2 years and 5 months and a few days. Now this was a quick summary of the life of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah, who was the great grandson of Umar ibn al-Khattab rahimahullah. And I will end off with this one narration in regards to his death. When they were burying him, Raja bin Haywa rahimahullah mentions that I had the honor to go down to his grave and open his coffin to make sure to switch or to direct his face towards the Qibla. But when I opened his coffin, his face was already facing the Qibla. Allah Azza wa Jal gave him an honorable death, and up until today, he's a role model for the leaders, and he's a role model for us also, that we have to choose only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over everyone, and honesty comes first, and everything else needs to exit from our lives. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from amongst those who will be resurrected with the ones who are siddiqeen and the shuhada and the salihin and the pious ones and the honest ones. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Jazakumullah.